keeps on giving. So again, for those of you checking in around the country, my name is Richard Hardon. I'm excited to be a part of the financial education process, making sure that we put together a platform where people get to learn the things that we didn't get to learn about money in school. Meaning, I'm sure that I'm a lot like you guys. Went through school, got all the education, got my degree from Duke University, both of them, electrical engineering, computer science, got out in the workplace and worked in the money game and figured out that they did not teach us what we needed to know in order to be successful financially. Can anybody relate to those things?
Yes.
So a very short number of months ago, I started this process of being educated in the process of income shifting. Now, for those of you that don't know what income shifting is, first note I want you to take is it is a set of strategies for putting your money back into your pocket. Where does your money belong? In your pocket. In your pocket is where your money goes, but most often it's been shifted away from us by several things by design to keep us working and struggling for all of our lives. But if we learn the secrets, we can get out of that trap. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Quickly, one thing that I always like to make sure is that we put all the things that we're learning in the context of the world that we live in and in America today. So let me skip through a couple of things. Just think about where we are in the world. I don't have to be Labor Days, but you already know. 2020 is a whole different year for a whole lot of things. If you listen to the news, it sounds like everything's bad. Meaning, you know, between Corona and the economic climate, the retirement statistics already were what they were. And this is one of the things that I hold up as the biggest piece of evidence against our current American education standard, meaning according to the US Census Bureau, by the time people who, out of 100 people who start working at 25, by the age of 65, 1% are considered wealthy, 4% have enough to retire comfortably, 3% are still working, 63% are dependent on Social Security, friends, and the federal government, and 29% are dead. And Sean, you know what the biggest, most condemning metric in that is, right?
63%. And
92%.
92% of them are dead or broke. Or
dead or broke.
Dead broke.
So it's that combination of things. Like if we look and think about just what was missing, we start thinking about, well, where did the money go? Well, 4 places where everybody's money went. Inflation, we call it the silent income killer. Taxes, which is the chainsaw massacre. Debt, which is the curse. And then last but not least, big business. You take those 4 things, you think about the average person's paycheck. If you ever wonder where your money went, there it is right there. Meaning inflation automatically drops your dollars below where you thought. Taxes takes the money out up front, and that puts people in debt, and then they run off to big business for retail therapy just to buy something with that last little bit they have left to create that feeling of happiness. But here's what I want you to know. As we go through the process of income shifting, there are 3 major moves that we make when it comes to shifting your income back. Everybody out there listening, touch yourself, touch your heart, say, this is my money, I want it back.
I want it back.
So the 3 things we do, the first thing we do is increase your cash flow. Second is build a business income. And third is get that increased cash flow and business income to build us investment income. And I know there are 3 strategies again. Won't go in detail how we do each one of these things today. But the first thing that we do is we got to attack that tax problem. Put you in a better tax bracket, because when we increase your tax flow, what we target is if you're going to be taxed 28 to 33% on the money you make at work anyway, we got to do as much as we can to get that down as small as possible. Then we got to get those expenses dropped, get you out of debt, and increase your credit score, which further accelerates the process of getting out of debt. And then at the same time, if we build a business income, now your business gets taxed differently than we do at work. See, at work, we get taxed up front. The government gets paid, then we get what's left. And then we have to ask for it back at the end of a year. They get a 1-year holding period on our money, paying no interest, and we got to fill out the right form to even get that. Business gets taxed totally different. Lower tax bracket, 18 to 25%, but more important, they get taxed last. They get to work, they get to spend what they need to run their business, and they get taxed 18 to 25% of what's left. And if we're good at it, we can make that number look a lot like 0. That's what Amazon did. I mean, I'm not saying do anything illegal. I'm saying be efficient. Amazon didn't show a profit. For all the years that they've been delivering boxes, they didn't show a profit until last year.
Wow.
I mean, well, 2018, so 2 years ago. But how long has Amazon been around?
Long time.
It's like 25 years. First profitable year 2 years ago. Anyway, you get to write off a part of your lifestyle. You get to make incredible extra money. And then both of those things, you get to do the best thing that you can do is get some investment income, because making money gets taxed the least of everything in America. You'll have capital gains. You'll have a real asset. And the most important investment you'll make in this process is you will invest in yourself. So what are we talking about today? Let's count down to financial freedom. And specifically, Sean, I think you and I have this book in common as one of our favorites over time. How many of you have read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Best. It's the best.
And then his follow-up book to that was The Cash Flow Quadrant.
The best.
And here's what he said had to happen if you want to make a shift to the place of being wealthy. So this isn't MWR Financial saying this. It's not Sean Hill. It's not Richard Hardon. It's Robert Kiyosaki says, if you start out an employee and end as an employee, that's a decision that you've made. Meaning most of us are taught nothing but the option to go out and work for someone, or to become self-employed, to be a doctor, a lawyer, where we own our job. But through this process of income shifting, as you buy and build a business system, this business system is helping you create investments where you're both making money from the business and because of the business. Am I making sense? I know that's kind of deep, right? From the business, we build a system where now your income, if you do this right, comes from more sources than just you, and then that income gets to fuel investments. So in his book, what he showed was a cash flow statement. How many of you have seen a cash flow statement before? Show of hands. I guess that is JP's truck. Okay, so here's the thing that we got to understand. As a business, we work like a business. So let's see people who I have faces, because I got questions about this sheet, and specifically, I'm going to have to give some people some money during our process today. Does that make sense? So Denise, I see you. Your camera's on and your mic is not muted. Sean Hill, and let me see the next person, camera on and mic. Ah, there's Morgan. Good, we got 3 people. So in the income statement, here's what I want you to understand. In our world, we got income, expenses, liabilities, and assets. Now, expenses are things that take money out of your pocket and out of your life forever. Highest expense in most people's life is taxes. Followed by interest that you pay on things that you owe, food, transportation, those kind of things. Now, on the balance sheet, this is where we win the game, assets and liabilities. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. So, well, Dr. Hill, we play the game all the time. What would you say the liabilities are on most people's balance sheet?
Their house is one of them.
Yep.
Unless they're renting it out, it's definitely a liability. Automobiles.
Yep.
Yep. Student loans, credit cards, right.
So that if you want to create wealth, that column right there is the enemy. Everybody look at it, point at it. I mean, I know the bank says that your house is your biggest asset.
Oh, my bad.
But really it's their biggest asset, isn't it?
Yes.
It takes money out of your pocket and puts it into their pocket, especially if you got what they call an amortized mortgage. Most of your life, you're paying interest to them. Now, at the same time, assets are things that put money into your pocket. So Denise, give me some ideas. What kind of assets can we get? What things put money in our pocket?
A savings account that earns interest. Or,
okay.
CDs or.
Okay. Yep. Morgan, got anything else that you want to add?
I was thinking like just what your income is, your 401k, those things will put money in your pocket, stocks.
Yep. So if you think about assets, and there's a big group of asset classes, most of us are taught to put money in the bank as the most traditional safe asset. We're going to talk about what happens with that. But stocks and bonds, mutual funds, real estate, even this business is an asset.
Yeah, is it?
Especially if you do it right. Make sense?
Yes.
So we take all these things, and here's what we do. In the game of cash flow, you actually look across 3 categories and pick which one you're in and which one you want to live in. Make sense? So according to Rich Dad, this is the cash flow pattern of the poor. They got a job, the income comes in, and all of it goes out the expense column. In the middle, this is why he calls it the middle class. Income comes in from the job, goes to pay for all those expenses. So I know what my bills look like. So on the first of the month, that first check is mortgage, student loans, credit cards, and then out through interest in the expense column. And what he calls the wealthy cash flow pattern is you got assets making money. You've taken some cash, bought, built, or grown an asset, and that asset produces more cash. So the goal, simply put, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to make wealth real, is get your assets to the place that they make more money than you. It doesn't have to be $1 million gajillion dollars. It's just that you got to have an asset that out earns you. Make sense? Now, why do I talk about this in comparison with the banker's secret? So here's something you want to write down and you want to process away so that you really internalize what it means to have the power to be your own bank. Banker's secret. And here's what we call it. So fill in the blanks. I would normally have sent you this form, but I was out at the dentist getting my teeth put back together. Anybody had braces before? Man. If that wire ever snaps, it just feels like you're chewing staples. I was just like, oh my goodness, I gotta get this back together. Anyway, banker's secret. We use the rule of 72. So that blank up there, fill in the rule of 72. And what that means is 72. If you take the number 72 divided by the interest rate, that equals the amount of time it will take your money to double. Rule of 72, take the number 72, divide it by the interest rate, and that's your money doubled. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, for my 3 participants that are on screen with microphones, I'm going to give you money. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you 2 gifts. I'm going to give you money and a new birthday. Now, this new birthday might not help you, Morgan. How old are you this year?
29.
Okay. Well, it's your exact birthday. So, I mean, everybody on this line for today, we're all going to be 29 years old like Morgan. So, Denise, you're 29. Sean Hill, you're 29 again. And Morgan, you are still 29. And the second gift I'm going to give you is some money. I'm going to give you $10,000.
Thank you.
$10,000. Now, the only rule is you have to invest this money. Can't spend it. You don't have to add anything else to it for the rest of your life, but all you can do is let it grow with interest, which is the 8th wonder of the world. And if we understand the power of interest, 2 things happen. If you understand the power of interest, you earn it. If you don't, you pay it. All right? Oh, as a matter of fact, I'll give you 1 more gift. So this is actually 3 gifts. Which gift did you get first?
Age.
Age 29. Time is in your favor. It's not get rich quick. It's get rich over time.
Right.
Second, you got
$10,000.
$10,000. Only requirement?
I got
You have to invest it and you can't touch it. Uh-oh. Can't touch it. Somebody was remixing me. It was it's gonna do an MC Hammer dance. All right. So let's see. First, Denise. So Denise, we're gonna give you a 4% interest rate. Now it's ironic. At the time that I got my first savings account, because that's what I was taught traditionally, was put my money in a savings account, let interest watch it grow. I got a 3% interest rate. Now that's back in the 70s.
Wow.
But if you think about what savings accounts or CDs or anything's getting in banks right now, every CD, do you know every CD at Wells Fargo under 5 years is still returning less than 1%? So if I give you a 4% interest rate, that's doing way better than a bank would do for you today, right? But let's use the rule of 72. Now, if you need your calculator, get it out. But if you don't, just join in. If we take 72 and divide it by 4, what's 72 divided by 4?
18.
18. So at 4% interest, your money doubles every 18 years. Now, by the way, let's put this in context of what banks are doing today. If you divide 72 by the number 1, how long would it take your money to double in a savings account?
72 years.
72 years. So 18 is way better than that. So at age 29, if you started out with $10,000, by the time you got to age 47, you have $20,000. And by the time you reach age 65, you're at $40,000, having started only with $10,000 and not done anything to it. Are we doing good?
It's decent.
Is way better than the bank.
Right.
And even better than that is 4 times what you started with.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now here's the reality. If you're 65 years old and only have $40,000 left to live the rest of your life, is that enough? No, so we need a better interest class, a higher interest rate. So we'll go next to, who was first? That was Denise that has 4% interest. So Sean will put you at 6% interest. Now it's only 2% more. But here's the math magic. See, people don't really think about money math is different than what you think. Because how many of you think that's going to be about 2% better?
More.
Versus 6%. Well, if you divide 72 by 6, what do you get?
12.
12. So you got a math teacher right there. He is precise and quick with math facts. This does not require a calculator. So, if your money doubles every 12 years, starting at age 29, that's $10,000 today. But by the time you get to 41, you're at $20,000. At 53, you're at $40,000. And by age 65, it's $80,000. Now, comparing 4% and 6%, who would have guessed that that would be double the return? That's what compounding does. Small percentage can make a big difference. Now, usually interest is working in our favor, is working against us. But how many of you think that's pretty good right there?
Yeah, absolutely.
But now here's something that you may not know. Let's take that one more time. If we double the interest rate, instead of 6%, we get 12%. 72 divided by 12. Who's got the quick facts?
6.
It's 6, right? And you can steal it from there. Just flip those numbers, they go in the same place.
That's
Every 6 years. Every 6 years. Now, Morgan, this is your money. You're right now 29 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If you add $10,000, 6 years from now, you'd have $20,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
What will happen 6 years after that? What's next? At 41, you'd have double, 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 47, you'd have 80,000. At 53, you'll have
160.
160,000. 59,
320,000.
and then at 65, you have
640,000.
$640,000. And that's the banker's secret. Meaning right now, if you put your money in the bank, do you get 4, 6, or 12%? No. But they do.
They do. Right.
You get 1%, so your money's doubling every 72 years. Their money, I mean, even right here, even if we assume this was a bank, 640,000 the bank gets, because how many of you know somebody that has a credit card with a higher interest rate than 12%?
I do.
What's the highest interest rate credit card of somebody that you know?
21%.
21 is average. I've met people with a 32% interest rate on a credit card.
Yeah.
So they taking the money that we've got, and just in this scenario, if this was the bank, 640,000, just leaving your money in the bank is a $600,000 decision. They took your $10,000, made 600,000 on it by loaning it 10 times, and they earned 600,000 more using the rule. Now here's a secret, and one of the powers that we have in MWR is right now, private reserve accounts are earning between 9 and 12%. If you had a private reserve account, you could be on this side of money versus that side. So here's the power, here's the impact, is knowing now, having a team of financial experts and the education to know that better is possible, we can do better and different things. With our MWR Financial Edge membership, we attack both sides of the interest equation, meaning the first thing that we do is for the debt you pay. And by the way, it's $228 up front, $119 a month to be in business, so that this is a business asset that you can write off on your taxes and make money from. But it'll return you $500 to $700 easily in a month. But what we focus on is first credit strategies, because credit affects the cost of your money. So we help you get your credit score up so the interest rates that you are paying to the banks go down. The second thing we do is with Equity Match, we go to work attacking that debt so that you pay as little in interest, because interest, that's the penalty we pay for having things ahead of the time we can afford to use them. Now that we got that money back, now we can go invest with the big boys. Find a private reserve account. Not only is it a different vehicle than what we were taught, it's better for us, meaning it's an insurance-backed vehicle, but now your gains are linked to the market's returns. So whenever the stock market goes up, it goes up. You don't lose any money. But here's what's powerful. Right now, we've been averaging 10 to 12% over this year. I'm talking about the COVID year, because even though there have been some terrible drops in the stock market, there have also been some exceptional days. And if you can ride out the highs and don't have to hit the lows, you've won. And then as your own bank, now you can borrow money from you. So you don't have to take the bank's interest rates. You get to set your own terms. And then when you borrow money from yourself, the account still grows like it's in there. Again, it's not something you're going to learn. It's definitely not something the bank is going to teach you, because this is in their best interest for you not to know. Make sense?
Yes.
And then with land banking, now we're going beyond double digit. If you could get a 24% return over a short hold, we're winning. And the best part about this system, because my intention is not for this to be a long conversation, we're right on time, is that we provide the training and support so that as you learn financially, as you educate yourself and grow through all the different channels, we put you in a position to take different actions. Oops. And by the way, I do have other books that you can read. So if you want to increase your financial IQ as you go through this, two of my favorite books for starting just that thought process, Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich. If you put those in rotation in your mind, you'll be investing in the biggest asset in the world, that's yourself, but also plug into our system, because here's what I want you to know. The bankers have a secret, but now you do too. For $228, $119 a month, you can put yourself in a position to have the huge shift in income, but have that income make you more money. And when your money is making you more money than you make at work, you've made wealth real. And that's what we're here to do. So with that, I will pause for questions. Did everybody get something different out of this conversation?
I did.
Excellent. So again, get with the person that invited you. If you want to know more about how to shift your income, get the experts to work to help you find investments that perform differently than what the bank told you, Make Wealth Real is a place to get that done.
Absolutely.
All right. Happy lunch.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? No questions, right?
Rich, I got a question for you.
All right.
All right. So with the Bank of Secrets, the